How you doing, guys? Welcome to Four Seas One Family. 欢迎收看赛瑜伽. Everybody, I hope you're doing very well. We just got off Chinese New Year here. That's right, Chinese New Year here. They still call it that here. And it was a very busy time. And I did some secret traveling. Can't talk about it now. But it's been quite busy here. But thanks for you guys coming. Oh, Black Travel Abroad. Oh, what's up? Haven't seen you in a while. We got Earl in here. Oh man, we got some good people in here. Thanks a lot for coming in here, guys. Let me move this out the way. Yeah, there you go. Raj Manjani. I forget I'll get it right one day. I'm sorry, man. But look, thanks a lot, guys. I just put this together real quick, watching the news, getting bombarded, getting dopamine all shot into my brain. I gotta do a little dopamine reduction, as they say, because this things are driving me crazy. But look, I just want to jump in here and say a few things because located here in Taiwan, and the neighbors across the street. We just got back from Asia a month ago. Well, you tell me about that later. Maybe we can talk about it and get you in here and talk about it because, Asia is always something happening out here. But, we got the neighbors next door, obviously, still doing their thing. But I want to bring a little different perspective about this because, some of you guys know that, we got the neighbors' planes are coming very close to the island, this island nation. And people here are getting a little bit more on their toes, but still on the outside, still trying to stay cool and calm. But people here still got the situation in the back of their minds that things can go out of whack anytime. And it only just takes even a simple accident of somebody accidentally pushing a little red button there, then before you know it, all hell breaks loose. So let me talk a little bit. You probably saw the title and, about China's little balloons flying all over the place, especially flying into the United States. And I want to say a little bit about that because here in Taiwan, we have China things flying over here all the time. And people here knew what was up, but it wasn't really posted that hard in the news and stuff like that because people knew that this was some kind of 不成文的规定, some kind of things that go on, but people just don't talk about it. But they know that they're being watched and being observed and being hassled, not only from the, externally, but also from inside, because subversion is just what it is. And everybody spies on each other. And if you don't think so, you're lying to yourself, okay? You need to get out of your kind of mental state addiction or selective amnesia, which I refer to a lot. And that comes from Gil Scott-Heron, I think, one of his songs. But look, things fly around here all the time from the neighbors. Okay, and when neighbors even send people over here to take part in certain activities, we know it. We can feel it, can hear it. And that is not only, involves political rallies, but basic social events. You get the neighbors coming over. But like I said, everybody watches each other, because if you study something called 孙子兵法 and, the art of war, the best way to fight your neighbor is close. Or fighting them without having a fight. That's the thing. And this is where subversion or spying is just the way it is. Now, about these balloons flying over the United States, the United States knew this was going on a long time. And it's nothing to be surprised about. People, we keep an eye on each other. And when you look at this picture of this balloon flying in here, let me bring this up here. Let me see if I can Okay, there you go. No sound. Thank you. Thanks a lot, RK. I'm sorry. I did some switching here. Let me close this off here. Sorry. Let me get this out the way. Yeah, let me repeat what I was saying. Can't hear. Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you for somebody. I didn't have time to set up because that's how off the cuff I am. Like, look, this is what I want to say. You know, these countries spy on each other all of the darn time. And it's no big secret. The neighbors next door have been sending all kinds of things over here. That's right. And also people, you know, and they don't only show up at political events, they also show up at regular street parties around here. And people here can feel it, they know it. But I want to talk a little bit more about this balloon, you know, and let me stress here, the people here are aware that the neighbors are sending over certain types of mechanical representatives, whether you want to call that email jamming, email blocking, email or cyber attacks, stuff like that. This happens all the time. If you here in Taiwan, if you go and buy a network server and put it in your house and place it on the internet, if you look at the records, I will guarantee that your server is being hit by some kind of bot to hack into your system. So here in Taiwan, people know the first time you get a QNAP computer or Synology, a server or a Synology server, the first thing you better do is change the default administrative name and password. I mean, people get hacked here all the time. And some people here get hacked on purpose just to see how the neighbors next door use their systems or their bots to break into networks. So look, guys, people here know and they stay on their toes. And, you know, this is a reality out here that we live out here in Taiwan. I'm sorry. I hope you guys, I didn't cut off too much at the beginning. But this is the point I want to bring up. If we got these balloons flying all over the place, and this particular time, sensitive time between the relationships between the neighbors next door in the United States, some kind of spy balloon went right over. Okay, good now, thanks. Was flowing over the northern part of the United States. There's two that got noticed in the news now. And there's a lot of big hoopla blah about this. Now, I'm going to talk from a different perspective that maybe would piss some people off, but I'm going to have to tell you, if I was sending over a spy balloon over someplace, I tell you what, guys, I would not paint the balloon or make the balloon white. Make the balloon white. If this is supposed to be a spy balloon, at least I would put a little bit of mitai. I would put some kind of camouflage on it. I would at least paint that darn balloon blue or something like that. Or some people say add some other kind of colors to it. But a white spy balloon, guys? Ooh, yet us be careful about this and think about this, because if it's a spy balloon, at least paint it blue, because this balloon was observable from the ground. I mean, how many people had their iPhones pointing up in the sky, taking photos of this thing? It was observable. But I do understand it was flying a lot higher than most commercial aircraft fly. Commercial aircraft fly about 35,000 feet. But this balloon was as high as 60,000 feet, which is quite up there, you know. But the thing is, would you paint the balloon white? Please. Now, let me put Earl's comment in here. U.S. Defense official says the balloon traveled from China to Alaska and through northwest Canada before arriving in Montana. NORAD should have detected. Yeah, well, look, Alaska has a lot of eyes up there. That's right. The United States has a lot of eyes in Alaska. They saw this thing coming, and this is not the first time. The previous administrations knew about this, but it's just something that they didn't talk about, you know, some kind of, like I said, what I just said before, 不成文的规定, some kind of hidden things that you know is going on. You just don't talk about it, maybe, because everybody spies on each other. And think about it. Why a balloon carrying a device at 60,000 feet when you have satellites that can read you reading a newspaper walking down the street. Oh, wait a minute, excuse me. People don't walk down the street anymore and with newspapers. They read their iPhones. I don't know if the satellites can go that good, but maybe an iPad. This is the crazy thing that had me thinking. And it made me wonder, why did this pop up in the news already? Now, if you go to the United States government website, there is a section on government, security. They do talk about stuff like this related to this, and it's open to the public. But most people don't know how to dig through those online government documents to find out the information. And I think that's done by design to make information like that. Yes, it's public, but hard as hell to find. But nevertheless, is this really a spy balloon? You see, they did figure out the origin of this balloon. These balloons, I should say, put it in a plural sense, someplace out in Western China. Now, it could have been some other institution out there that was doing their thing, testing, and their balloon went off path and ended up, I should say balloons in a plural, 多数的, right? Plural sense, flying out into the airstream and, heading over the United States. I'm just saying. I mean, could I be wrong? Could I be wrong? And could I be digging in too far? But the thing is, when China says that it reserves the right to deal with similar situations, what does that mean? After the U.S. shot down the balloon and now going out into the ocean off of North Carolina to pull the thing out of the water, which I think the depth where this device fell into is about 50 to 70 feet. So which feet or meters? I forgot to look at. Yeah, that's right. It's not going to be hard to find, and it's going to be quite embarrassing just to find out if it just really is a weather surveillance device. But another thing is also, the neighbors next door should have made that publicly, announced publicly that they were doing this. Now, the thing that bothers me is, what do the neighbors next door define as similar situations? This is what kind of like should make a few people in the whole North America and Western nations think about. What do they mean about similar situations? What do you think? What kind of things could be referred to as a similar situation? If somebody threw a paper airplane out of the helicopter over China, that means they're going to start a war. This is something that people should think about. Now, the thing I need to also find out for personal reasons, I mean, why so much push at this particular time? Military planes, okay. Well, military planes can be an obvious provocation, right? If some kid in some park in Washington, D.C. Connects their GoPro to a very huge homemade balloon and it flies over northern Heilongjiang, will China just go crazy off with that? I mean, think about it. These things could happen. Maybe I'm thinking too much, but this is just something that makes me want to have people think about, because we don't need another World War III. What will China consider as similar situation? I mean, we all know about the industrial war complex here, right? That's how they make money, right? When most nations face disturbances, internal disturbances that they cannot solve rather quickly, they do look for external, reasons for unifications to keep people minds off their, say, financial situation or little things like that normally should be normal. Get people's eyes looking on something else, and wars are a great way to do that. And this is what worries me about the neighbors next door. Now, you know, the C-19 situation over there is still not under control. We got small pockets of people holding up white papers over there, mainly in the urban areas. But this may be a time that leaders next door may be looking for a reason to keep people's minds off of that. So many lives are being lost there, especially over generation, people over 60, and their population is declining, and they're worrying about how to get the younger generation to get in there and help them raise up the population. I frankly think this may have been done on design. Lower the population to keep future financial burden out of people's minds. Yes, you're right. That is true. Limits. Actually, if you have a shortwave radio listening, it's below 20 meters. If you're a ham operator, you know what I'm talking about. If you're an amateur radio operator, get your Icon radio up there, turn your shortwave radios on and listen to about 16,125 lower sideband. If you know anything about radio, you can actually hear the aircraft strike group. And that's done on purpose. Of course, they can use digital technology to hide their certain secret, certain things they would like to keep, secret, to use digital. But when they're using regular analog signals, you can receive it, right? You can receive the whole strike group on shortwave radio, about 20 meters, a little bit below that, about 16,125 megahertz. You can actually hear it if you know anything about radio. If you have any shortwave radio that's capable of receiving something called lower sideband, you can hear it, and that's done on purpose to let the neighbors know we're here. Now, we got the situation here now that the U.S. has acquired more landing areas for warplanes in Okinawa. This is no joke. And then you got a U.S. official talking about 2025 is maybe a time where the neighbors may want to pay a visit. And this bothers me because Taiwan has been my home. And the people here are just great. And that's wonder what my brethren back in the United States think or feel, because they have their own issues, right? But, living in a nation, community where people can openly, freely exchange what's on their mind without fear of being being incarcerated, that's something to value. And I just hope we can all think about that, because I hope we can understand that we really do have a lot more in common than we think, and most of us do cherish the same things. And out here in Asia, Taiwan has proudly been one of the few Asian nations that took a more progressive direction. It may not be perfect, because growth has never been painless. But I just hope to just put out these few words and let us think about why all of a sudden this noise about this balloon that the U.S. government has known for a while, these type of surveillance equipment or devices, monitoring devices. Yeah, but the Philippines to me is like a piece of grass on a wall. They swing with the wind. And their last president was quite scary, and the leader that they have now has been closing pretty close to the neighbor next door. And this is kind of scary. Yes, Yes, that's true. They are. They have always been there at a certain number, and now going to be more influx. Now, folks in the United States will know that things are really getting hot when there are calls to re-implement changes to how would you say, drafting people. I should say, when there's somebody doing very low whispering about doing some modification to the way we acquire people to join the military. That's something to think about. And I've been hearing some comments like that in certain groups. But I just wanted to jump in there and just run my mouth a little bit about that. But what the neighbors, or how the neighbors will define similar situations, more than just, should just tickle us. And I just want to put that out there and give you guys something to think about before I jump in the shower here and go to bed and get up in the morning, go to the gym. I should have went to the gym tonight, but I decided to just do this. But I just want to thank you guys for, taking the time out of if you're on the other side of the world, your morning, for jumping in here and listening to my little rant. I should have I'm going to talk about a very strange topic in about 3 days. Got a video I'm putting up about, basically why people get together and protest and act the way they do. Could it be something could it just make people feel good sometimes? But I'll talk about that later. Okay, look, thank you very much. And thank you for joining me here at 4 Seas One Family. I wanted to jump in here for like 10 or 15 minutes. And my throat is dry. So that's why I sound like I'm missing every fifth word. I don't know. Okay, go away. Enjoy the rest of your day. And wherever you are in the world, stay strong, safe, and healthy. Peace, 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 peace. Peace, Earl.